Hello. Here we're going to have another interview, and today I'm in Copenhagen and I'm with Nina Søager today. So, Nina, are you happy to answer a few questions about your work?
Absolutely.
Fantastic, that's great. So, Nina has just been to Argentina with her new PhD student. Was there anyone else on the trip?
We met a group of Argentinian researchers, and they came with us up on the biggest volcano, so they helped us collect some of the samples, and then they did their own fieldwork, and we were alone again. So mostly just me and my PhD, but we collaborate with these people from Argentina.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Well, how does it feel to be out there in the wilderness on your own, kind of, in Argentina?
Well, I would say the most scary part is when we take the car, we have loads of extra diesel, we have 3 extra tires, and you drive and drive and drive these very small roads and camp somewhere, and the only thing I worry is that the car runs out of electricity, because if you leave the light on in the night, you're really in a bad position.
I mean, I heard people saying they broke down in cars in the Andes, and it's not been very pleasant.
No,
so,
but fortunately we didn't have a single flat tire, so that was a big success.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
I remember that when I was there last year, we had, I think, 2 or 3 on the same car.
Yeah.
It was the driving, but anyway. So.
Yeah.
Now, what is the major thrust of the research you're doing there in Argentina? Obviously, it's volcanoes you're looking at, but what's the main goal?
So in this project, we are looking at very highly silicic volcanoes. So they are very silica rich, and they are probably related to some very shallow magma chambers in the upper crust. And the reason why they are interesting is because they can potentially be very explosive when they erupt, and be a big hazard to the population. Although it's not really, it's a quite deserted area, but there are some towns and there's farms spread around the area. So and livestock, of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I would also probably think that in addition to the local population, you would probably also have far-reaching effects in terms of if you have explosive eruptions, you have ash migrating and things like that. So this would probably be an issue there as well. And you have some rocks there. Are they part of this suite you just mentioned, or?
Yeah. So the biggest volcano we have studied is called Domujo, and this volcano has probably been active quite recently, maybe 25,000 years ago. And down on the slope of the volcano, there were some very deep valleys where you could see profiles of ignimbrites. So they're formed by these pyroclastic ash flows.
These glowing avalanche type things.
Yeah, and they are of course the most dangerous parts of a volcano because they travel very fast and very far, so they are a major threat. And of course I have this one.
Yes, you can show it, absolutely. You can bring it even closer, I guess.
Yeah, so that's an example of a nice ignimbrite with this obsidian.
With kind of streaky features,
So these were pumice clasts that were so hot that they are dragged out when the ash cloud deposited, and they are made of this volcanic rhyolitic glass that nowadays I think it's called dragon glass.
Some people call it that, obsidian is sometimes referred to that. It's a collector's term, I thought, but anyways.
It's a very modern term. But anyways, these valleys had multiple ignimbrite flows that were maybe up to 30 meters in thickness. So it has been definitely very violent eruptions. And another thing that we collected there, if you can see it quite closely, it's obsidian, but it's full of cracks. So this is a part of a type of breccia where an obsidian lava flow has been exploded to pieces. So you had meter thick layers with the same lava composition, just lots of fragments that were lying in a big pile. And this was maybe 10 kilometers away from the volcano, so I think this has been quite a violent thing. So that's why we're interested in finding out what are the ages of this activity in the area? When was the most recent eruption? How often does it erupt? Is it how explosive are the eruptions, like in general? And yeah,
which will all help you to make an estimate about how future situation might unravel in terms of how frequent and how dangerous it gets.
yeah.
So I see. And what methods are you using to kind of learn about the rocks?
So apart from going into the field and looking at the rocks, of course, and recording what type it is, we take rock samples home and then we crush it up and analyze it with different methods, so we know what kind of major and trace elements that we find in the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
We do other types of analysis called isotope analysis.
Right.
That you can use to fingerprint the magma. So we try to figure out where does the magma come from.
Mm-hmm.
Does it come all the way from the mantle, or is it mostly the crust that has melted and produced these very rhyolitic magmas? It's also a possibility, or it could be a mixture. So this is what we want to know. We also want to pick out some of the minerals from the rocks and see if we can make an estimate of the depth of the magma chamber.
Yes, that
So
would be
how
good to
deep
know. Yeah.
and the crust, is it situated? And then for the whole zone, where we see several of these silicic volcanoes all along this stretch, we would like to figure out whether it's a big zone with a lot of coherent magma chambers, or if it's more just smaller isolated magma chambers in different places.
Yes, and I understand all of these aspects are important in order to work out how future volcanic scenarios might unfold.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the ages, do you think you get a feeling for how frequent the eruptions are when you do a good age kind of stratigraphy there on the different deposits?
It would require quite a lot of
I would think so, yes.
analysis, and I think this is not realistic for us.
Okay, I see.
So I think we will mainly go to seeing if we can find the youngest eruption,
Yes.
and also to get some age constraints on some of the other volcanoes that we have sampled in the area.
Very good. This sounds exciting. So I guess all I can say is I wish you the very best of luck for your research there, and also for the work with the PhD student. And hopefully you get some really exciting papers published out of
Yes,
that.
I hope so.
I hope so for you and for everybody else as well. Great. So thank you, Nina. And it was great that you took the time to speak with me about this. And I hope you enjoyed that. So I'll say goodbye and to the next time. All the best. Bye-bye.